The theme of this short video is the world in crisis. What do you think? What's your heart saying to you today about the world being in crisis? I guess it's true, as it was for Jesus 2000 years ago, as it was for the Lord Buddha. But you know, we must take heart. And yes, the world has become a despiritualized oasis in a wilderness self-imposed by man's lack of grace, lack of humanity. And you would think, wouldn't you, that with the advancement in technology, the iPhone, the iPad, the internet, that we would be able to eradicate poverty, greed, disease. But instead, all our electrical gadgets have had a downside, because many young teenagers today, even young children, they spend far too many hours on the internet, their PlayStation, instead of being outside playing with their friends and building their social skills, improving their communication skills in play. But first, let us read to you a reflection for today. Our obsession with possessions is incredible. We collect things only to cast them aside. Things we may never need again, we hold on to. Our wants can go way beyond our needs and may become greed. The more we give in to our wants, the more out of control our life becomes. It gets filled with clutter and chaos, confusion, even crisis. Living simply, attending only to our needs, we can feel liberated and empowered. Simplicity frees us from false values and releases us from possessions, that we may free ourselves of the past and live more fully in the present. And here we have a beautiful quote from a peace pilgrim. A persistent simplification will create an inner and outer well-being that places harmony in one's life. And there you have it. The world, as I see it, is a beautiful world. Creation is a beautiful gift from God. What would have happened if God did not give you and me free will, where we became automatons? But that is the loving Father, Mother God that we embrace. We have been given the gift of free will to choose. And that for me says a lot to my heart. That the one who created me, who formed me in my mother's womb, who enriched my life to embrace that intense relationship with a loving God, has inspired me to abandon the wants list and to focus on my needs list. And I know that my needs are met every day. How do I know that? Because in surrendering my heart to God as an ambassador of that love, a prisoner of that love, I am locked into a positive mindset where I'm freed up. And I guess it has to be said that I work for a good employer, whose terms of reference and the conditions of service are more than excellent. But coming back to the world in crisis, What do you feel is one of the root causes of that crisis today? Take, for example, the world recession. What caused that? You and I caused it. Oh yes, we blame the bankers, and yes, they're wrong for what they did in their fast cat bonuses. And yes, our MPs here in the UK for fiddling the books. And when they were challenged, oh well, they've always done it. How weak-willed is that? Where is the integrity? But that's been compromised on the altars of man's greed. The world is in crisis. A beautiful world that was given to us as a free gift to embrace a loving God through respect, trust, reverence, has been annihilated by a few. And there's a saying that if you make a rule, it will be broken. Because I guess it's within our DNA to break rules. We've all broken rules, even in the schoolyard. Growing up, when you see a sign, don't go in, you go in. Curiosity kills the cat, as they say. So how do we turn around this world that's in crisis? Well, first, you and I have learnt our lessons. Many have lived beyond their means, got themselves into spiraling debt. Many have lost their home, their job. Many, their relationships have broken down. 92% of society are living in fear. Fear of the brown envelope coming through their letterbox, reminding them of their foolishness and their stupidity, reminding them that keeping up with the Joneses next door, who's got loft insulation, who's got solar paneling, who's got a state-of-the-art car in the carport, has actually driven them over the edge. But can we bring it back? Of course we can bring it back. But today not many want to return back. Oh no. They make excuses. Oh, it was their fault. It's the government. It's society. It's the world. It's not. It's me. It's you. We have the power to take back responsibility and face those issues, those grey areas. And if we say we love God and are in debt, then I think we're only giving lip service to God. It is not the will of God that his children be in debt. That's an erroneous fallacy. It's a philosophy that sucks. And yet you meet many light workers, people who call themselves believers, who are in debt up to their eyeballs. They're addicted to the abundance philosophy, manifesting your abundance. They're focusing on wealth, material wealth. We are given our needs, not our wants. And that's probably why there's been such an upsurge in people running to psychics, clairvoyants, mediums, instead of falling on their knees and coming before a loving God who loves them for who they are and what they are. Instead, they embrace fear. Instead, they walk away. Instead, they don't want to know. They don't want to know the reality of their situation, and they perpetuate the crisis in our world. But we can stop it right now today by surrendering. And we can do that by naming and shaming those grey areas in our life that has alienated us from a loving God. And bless every situation. Give a blessing to all those mistakes. And make amends by turning it round. By thinking positive and knowing that God will survive, will help us survive, and empower us to come back to normality and make this world a beautiful place for all God's children. Blessings.